Hey all, welcome back to the Board Game Archives. This is our third review, so we're just gonna jump straight on in, and we're gonna introduce Horrified, Greek Monsters, our favorite board game here. We're gonna begin with a very quick overview on how we do our reviews here at the Board Game Archives, and then we're gonna jump straight in and show you how we'd review this specific game.
We review games based on 5 topics: accessibility, replayability, cost, aesthetic, and time. Games can earn between 0 and 5 stars for each topic for a total of 0 to 25 stars. Games closer to 25 are amazing, while ones closer to 0 are severely lacking, in our personal opinion.
In Horrified, Greek Monsters, Pandora's box is opened, and has let out 6 different monsters from Greek mythology out loose onto this nondescript ancient Greek town. It is up to the players to send them back to where they belong. Each turn, players can perform a number of different tasks, such as picking up items that can be used to fight off the monsters, or moving across the map. Perk cards can also be used at any given time and do not waste an action. They have a number of different abilities, such as giving players different items or pushing monsters back by a number of spaces. Also, every so often, townsfolk will arrive within the city, and it is your job to assist them in safe passage. Players can also earn 1 additional perk card each for every townsfolk member who is successfully delivered. After the player turn comes the monster turn. There are 6 different monsters, each with unique abilities, and it is up to the players to decide which characters they want to play against. A typical game has anywhere between 2 and 4 monsters chosen at random before the game starts. After the end of each player turn, a monster card is pulled. On the monster card are 3 different things. First off, you can replenish the amount of items on your board. Second, some random event happens as detailed on the card. And third, a specific monster is allowed to move and attack a certain number of times each. Players and monsters take turns battling it out until one of 3 events happens. Either A, players end up beating all the monsters on the board, B, every single monster card is played, or C, the monsters have knocked out the players so many times that the city and its townsfolk have become horrified.
Time for our review. For accessibility, we're going to give Horrified Greek Monsters 3 out of 5 stars. While we love the game's complexity, we may worry that the game may be a bit too complex for many new or casual board game players. With things like characters, actions, items, monsters, townsfolk, and more, there are many things to balance in order to play the game as it's intended, and so the game will not be easy for some to fully understand at first. Once you get the hang of the game, though, you'll actually find that Horrified's game flow is actually very intuitive and fun. New players just need to play a few practice rounds to get used to the flow of the game.
Next up is replayability, and we're gonna give Horrified Greek Monsters 5 out of 5 stars. And to make this point, rather than showing you little bite-sized clips here and there, we're going to show you unedited footage of us playing the game so that you can better understand how the game moves. Like Alicia mentioned earlier, there are a lot of different moving parts here and there, like characters and actions and items, things of that nature, and so all in all, the game offers a very high level of complexity, but it's a good complexity. So take right here for instance. Like I mentioned before, whenever you pull out a monster card, you lay out items, you have the monsters move, and then something happens. So we've just laid out 2 different items as stated on the card, and then we move 2 different monsters to be in the same exact spots. Each monster has 3 different symbols on their character sheet, and each monster card has a specific symbol that notates which monster moves. So sometimes a monster can move several times in a round, sometimes a monster may not move at all. And while the gameplay loop I just described is a very short, minute version of the gameplay loop you'll experience in this game, it just goes to show how truly expansive this game is. It takes the heroes go, then monsters go, and back and forth model, but also allows players to explore a number of different avenues. You can pick up items one round, and then just move around wherever you'd like the next round. Monsters can attack one round, and then just stay in place for the next 3 rounds. And so there's a lot of creativity and a lot of improvisation involved in the game, especially considering that each round, or each gameplay rather, you can add different monsters in and also play as different characters. So because there is such beauty and such expansiveness in something so simple as good guys then bad guys, it really allows players to explore and keep on playing and keep on going, even if it's the same gameplay loop over and over again. That's why we've decided to give it 5 out of 5 stars for replayability. On a side note, we do plan on playing Horrified as our first gameplay video on this channel, so keep an eye out for that.
Now for the aesthetics. We're going to give the aesthetics 5 out of 5 stars. The game is very beautiful and each individual piece is very well designed. The color palette is very diverse and yet all the colors involved blend well together so that the overall color scheme stands out in a good way. The art style is also very well done and we love how in-depth each individual piece is. Also, each piece is very well made, which adds to the overall quality of the game.
Our second to last section is over the cost of the game. We originally purchased this game for $45, however, we've recently noticed that the price has started to go down. We've noticed it at our local Target for about $40 or maybe even $35, so for that reason we're going to give it 5 out of 5 stars for the cost. We're unsure if that dip in price is all over the world or if it's just in our local area, and we're unsure if it's going to be a long time thing or if it's just for, say, the weekend that we saw it. But regardless, we do believe that that $45 price tag is well worth the game. There's so many different pieces that are so well made, there's so many different challenges that you can partake in during the gameplay that we really believe that overall $45 is a good price to pay.
And finally, the length of the game. For time, we're going to give Horrified 3 out of 5 stars. The main reason for this is how long the game takes to set up and to put away. You're currently watching a clip of Juno setting up. It took them almost 15 minutes to set up, even though they've played this game a countless amount of times. The game itself can take over an hour depending on the number of players and monsters, and so to add on a 15-minute setup and more time to put the pieces back into the box makes it a bit tad long for those wishing for a quicker experience. The length of the game in and of itself is a good length for the amount of things that the game has to offer. We're just worried about the time before and after though.
Time for our final verdict. So overall, we're going to give Horrified Greek Monsters a total of 21 out of 25 stars. Our main worries are that the time may be a little bit too long when you factor in things like the setup and the takedown, and we're also worried about how difficult that early learning curve is. It's really easy to understand once you know what you're doing, but it's just that point in which you really don't know what you're doing. That's what we're worried about. Otherwise, we love this game. Like I said, this is our favorite game here at the Board Game Archives. We love how much there is to do, and because you can switch out your characters, you can switch out the monsters that you face every single round, every time you play it feels fresh and unique, and you get to face some sort of new challenge every single time you play. And that's our review over Horrified. Make sure you let us know in the comments if there's any part that you agree or disagree with. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to stop by next week for our next video. Also, the vinyl of the week is The Masquerade by MXM Tune. Okay, bye.